what the teams have here, but as is custom, Anivia is the first ban from Phoenix One, taken away from Froggen.
It's just smart, right? The guy loves to play it. He's one of the best in the entire world at this champion, been playing for years and years and years. He doesn't play all the other meta mid laners, so why not focus Froggen? That's exactly what P1 are going to be doing here, going right after him, taking away Victor and Anivia. And for Fox, Twitch and Bard going to be taken off the table.
Yeah, definitely some different picks here. Is Cassiopeia also getting banned away from P1. Bard, a strong support. Interesting to see Fox respect that one. Twitch, not so much, but certainly a champion we know Mash likes to play in. Has seen some play in the LCS this summer.
It's also a champion that sometimes just stylistically, the kind of team comps that you want to play don't match up well against it. You need to have dive, you need to have hard engage to deal with Twitch and be able to kind of take him out very quickly. And if you don't like to select those kind of champions, it's smart to take away Twitch from someone who does play it so well. Cassiopeia going to be taken away by P1, so triple mid lane ban. When you take into consideration, the Ryze got nerfed a little bit ago. Swain and Vlad have both been nerfed. This is a lot of focus on mid lane. Karma, even a flex mid laner, you could say. So there's going to be some question marks here as to what we're going to see P1 and Fox bring out in the mid lane.
And it almost feels like with the way they're banned, P1 do want to first pick a mid laner here as well. So could target Froggen even more if they want to, but might take something like a safe top or a safe support or even something like a jungler.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rek'Sai kind of has been one of those S-tier junglers. People really like playing this guy. Nidalee as well, very high in priority, but it's going to be the Vlad hover. We'll see if they lock it in, and it is going to be Vlad. Okay. So although it has taken some nerfs, it's interesting to see different teams' interpretation on how strong this champion is right now. Some players really do not think it's very strong. Some players still think it's worth, obviously, early picking here. C9 did play it against TSM yesterday. Didn't work out for them. We'll see how it's going to go for Pyrion today.
Well, have to think maybe, is that just an adjustment thing as well? Teams do have a lot of games to play. Maybe they're just not quite picking up on the trend. Soraka, though, locked in very early there for Big, and there is going to be that Rek'Sai you mentioned. So you want to talk about 6-13 power picks or even just power picks in general, there's Rek'Sai, there's Soraka. There's arguably your two best champions for their role.
Yeah, Soraka getting even better with support item changes, kind of tankier. Does have a little bit of added health and kind of armor from that, so it is nice. Rek'Sai also very, very strong, has been for quite some time, and it's looking like it's going to be some quick two picks here for P1.
Yeah,
it's going to be the Elise. It's not Nidalee, so that will fall through the cracks this time around. Braum going to be taken up, so that does kind of build in some tankiness to P1's draft. As they talked about on the desk, this is one of the only kind of meta supports right now that does have that strong tanky presence in the team fights. The disadvantage, obviously, is you're going up against Soraka. Soraka, unless you can all-in her, is going to have that lane advantage. And we saw that really flesh out pretty heavily yesterday in some of the games, against between Immortals and Envy, where Immortals actually got completely smashed by a Soraka Sivir lane when they were playing with Braum.
Well, they actually take the Sivir on the P1 side, so Sivir and Shen will finish off their draft. Ryze and Ashley were the picks on the Echo Fox side, so we'll have that Ryze Vlad matchup again. We did see it yesterday in TSM Cloud9 with Bjergsen on the Ryze side of the matchup. We'll see what Echo Fox want to have their last pick. It is going to be Jax for KFO again. And these drafts look super solid, actually.
Yeah, they do look solid. Very quick stuff here coming in. Both teams with kind of that split pushing threat. Obviously very differently. Zig is not going to be kind of like 1v3ing, smashing people like that, but Shen has a really good ability to control the side lane waves because he has not only his TP, but he has his ultimate, so he can stay in those waves, hopefully match the Jax. KFO is going to be trying to get ahead, trying to look for that split push dominance. If he can get ahead of the Shen, that will be a key in Fox's victory. At the same time, Froggen on the rise, definitely a power pick there. If he can get ahead of the Vladimir, that could be big for the team. So a lot of this is really going to come down, I think, to the solo lanes. Both these laners in the bot lane have the ability to kind of farm it out. Yes, Braum is maybe a weaker laner than the Soraka as far as the straight-up 2v2, but Sivir has very strong wave clear, pushing power, so you can kind of negate a lot of that. And, with two strong early gankers in the jungle, two explosive solo laners, a lot of it's going to come down to that top side of the map.
Well, we're about to get things started, so register your votes on Twitter for the team you think is coming out on top in this series. For Phoenix One, use the hashtag P1win, and for Echobox, use the hashtag FOXwinners. This is a great start here to Game 1 between these two teams. A lot to gain here, despite the placing in the standings so far, and it will start here with a Game 1 win. Echofox, I haven't said it on air, but I think they feel like a good double teleport team to me with the way they were playing. This is a very classic double teleport comp, and I kind of like that P1 have answered with Shen. So curious to see how these two teams bash into each other as we get started for game number 1.
Yeah, TP nerf does come in. Hasn't affected stuff too much just yet as far as at least the summoners that people are selecting. But it has that longer channel time. It's something you have to take into consideration. You've got to be really quick with those TPs. If you're not going in instantly into a fight, people like kind of were talking as if you have more time to decide. Yes, you have more time to decide if you want to let the TP go through. But if you're not instantly joining those fights, you're going to be too late.
Yep, and that's not good enough usually. It's precious seconds that do matter here out on Summoner's Rift, but we're here for game number 1 between P1 and Echo Fox. Both teams just fanning out. Bit of 5-point defense here to kick things off. We'll see if we have any other movement at level 1.
Yeah, looking like the line of scrimmage, and I don't think either team is going to go for the lane swap, but we have P1 backing early. They may be trying to avoid this 2v2. Shen moving down towards the bot side, so it is going to be P1 calling the lane swap, and I think they just are trying to avoid the Soraka Ashe lane.
Well, I like it. Like you mentioned, kind of Sivir just wants to sit there, clearing out waves anyway, so we'll get out of the way from Keith and his Ashe.
It's also something where, you know, Shen is more okay being low on gold than the Jax is. Jax really wants to kind of catapult towards, you know, that Trinity Force, some of the split push items get really powerful, whereas Shen, you still have a high baseline effectiveness even when you're low on gold.
Well, that's certainly true, and KFO's been a player that's been pretty picked on, actually, like a lot of these star top laners. Want to try and shut him down if you can. This will isolate our mid lane matchup, of course. We'll have eyes on Pyrian and Froggen here, so we'll see how Froggen handles this 1v1. His individual landing's been quite strong overall, but Pyrian actually, I think, also slowly increasing in strength. We'll see how they do on 2 meta mid laners of the last patch that teams still want to go with.
This is pretty cheeky. P1 is actually camping out in the bush here. They're going to look to try to catch KFO. If he does go up to get a last hit, he may get in trouble. Oh, a whiff.
Not a good look. Winter's Bite does go wide, and KFO activates the counter-strike.
Yeah, not patient enough there from P1. If they had actually waited for KFO to either face check the bush or if he went for a CS, that could have been at least a flash, if not a first blood. But they whiffed the Winter's Bite. They kind of push him off early. Sure, it's fine, but not what they were hoping for, certainly.
No. Actually, Shen's going to join down there as well. So top lane is actually in the bottom half of the map, which is a little weird right now, but could use those teleports if they want to start those pushes. Unfortunately for them, as we do see Zig teleport up towards that top lane, they're just kind of getting zoned off the wave for a little while longer. So standard stuff, but good attempt from P1. No conversion on the kill for KFO, though.
Yeah, it works out a lot better for Zig either way. He does pick up a couple CS. He gets a little bit more XP, so he does have that advantage going for them. Both top laners are going to be TPing into this lane swap, and it has become relatively standard. Top laners trying to just kind of greed out as much as they possibly can, get half a wave, at least get half a wave of XP before you join up with the team, because honestly, there's not a lot that happens in the next few minutes where you're going to need your TP. So it's okay to blow that early and to get a little bit of experience.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of creative level 1s actually around the lane swap, but they usually end up the same way. You can see Echo Fox a little further ahead on getting KFO started with the turret. He should take it shortly, but not going to be particularly far behind, as Mash actually took a barrage of turret bolts to the face just to make sure it went down. But KFO, he does win the first one.
Yep, it does get that down first. We'll see if all the solo gold is going to be given over to Zig as well. It looks like it is. So both top laners going to be gifted that solo gold. And it looks like the bounce is pretty good on both sides. Yeah, so both top laners going to have the wave bouncing back towards them. The bot lane's already making their rotations. Echo Fox is a little bit ahead as far as that goes, since they took the turret down first, and their bot lane's already there.
Yep, they've got some maybe 5 to 10 seconds of advantage. We'll see if they can just eke out a little bit more. Zig and Keith already pushing this in, but Zig is sticking around for a little while just to get what he can. KFO, though, plenty of free time in the early stages, which is very nice, given that it was a lane swap here for this top laner. He's going to collect every CS he can, but he's going to have to bail soon, because there's Mash and Gate, and yeah, he knows. Time to try and get out.
Yeah, okay, so they're not even going to try to chase, but that is the advantage that he got. He got to hang out a little bit longer. He hits level 3, gets a couple more CS because they took the turret faster. So even though Zig individually was able to pick up a couple CS at level 1, the KFO did not, because Fox did the turret trade faster, they get that right back.
Yeah, we can see Froggen actually. Decent little trade there into Pyrian. Gets some damage down. Already has a tier actually, so they're stacking that up nice and quickly. Somehow snuck that back in without burning his TP. Very sneaky there from Froggen, but looks like it is just going to be some turret trading here. Keith and Big already working on the top outer. You can see P1's duo lane doing the same as well, with Zig already pulled off the wave actually. KFO just now joining Echo Fox, so kind of all comes out in the wash in the lane swap, which is kind of how it always goes.
most of the time. Sometimes teams do kind of make those mistakes, and it can go a little bit crazy. You know, we have seen the kind of greedier starts from top laners backfire occasionally. I remember a game where Darshan, I think, got first blooded, actually, sticking around, because if you do continually make this play where you sit around and try to get that half a wave of XP, you can get punished for it. You know, if they want to set up for it, if they want to commit to it, you can really get killed. So P1 was kind of trying to go for something like that. This game didn't work out, so it is going to fall back into that pretty normal turret trade. Once again, they are a little bit behind here on the take. We'll see if Zig gets a solo gold. It looks like they're going to give it to him. They want to keep him relevant against KFO. Make sure the KFO can't just get this big advantage.
Yeah, and KFO, again, because Echo Fox were a little faster on the play, is slightly ahead, but not going to convert too hard. P1, though, doing the smart thing, will move themselves down to the Ocean Drake.
Here comes Fox, and they're already in on this. This is going to be a lot of damage being taken. They're going to have to push back.
Yeah, Nori took too much damage. Nice play there from Echo Fox to make sure to cover the obvious Drake attempt. So P1, correct attempt, but the right counter there from Echo Fox as well. And we'll settle back in some standard lanes with some turrets being taken already in the early minutes.
It's one of those things where it's actually pretty risky going for those super early ones. Yeah, they didn't die. Yeah, they didn't give up the Drake. But they were already behind on the rotations. They're already behind in this way. And so now, as a result, the wave is going to be worse in the top lane, pushing against them. So KFO is getting additional farm. They make the rotation more slowly. And they actually do get punished pretty heavily as far as experience and gold that is being lost here. You can see Fox is up 500 gold. And a lot of that is actually because they went for this dragon. The top lane has been free farm for KFO, where the bot lane duo should have already been pushing him off, should have already been able to stop this a long time ago, and that's a pretty nice win for Fox.
Yeah, KFO finally leaves the top lane as
24 CS
join them. Yeah, and that's actually a huge lead in the early game, right? So we'll see what Keith and Big can do to try and zone out Zig. He'll collect the CS as it comes towards that turret. Hard, though, maybe getting caught out. Does eat the Q there from Braum, but Hard's level 6. Versus Gay, who just now dings level 4. So Rek'Sai not particularly afraid of the Braum. Does need to go shopping, though. Has been out in the jungle, hard farming with just the machete and the refillable. You can see Nori's already gone back, got some early cooldown boots and a tracker's knife. So we'll have her back soon, I imagine, there for the Echo Fox jungler. But
yeah, certainly will. And once again, as a result of this advantage, you know, KFO is actually able to not only get all that additional farm, the wave still pushes towards him. Now he's picking up all the farm at the turret. He's going to get so much XP. Zig is getting zoned off a little bit, not really able to pick up too much, taking a lot of damage. And this is going to be a pretty big lead for KFO. So all things really considered, it's going great for Echo Fox in this early game. KFO even trying to set up a little bit of a freeze. Cannon gets the turret, though, so that's going to break. Either way, things looking good for Echo Fox.
Yeah, you can see the logic in wanting to sort of slow down KFO with the Shen, who, like you said, is going to be a bit more effective with less gold, but KFO's got so much space to work with right now, and Froggen's also been farming, because that's really what happens in a lane swap with mid lane, especially with Vlad vs. Ryze. They are just going to collect their CS. So I think the key members of Echo Fox getting the farm early on, which is good to see. KFO and Froggen scaling nicely, but we'll see what P1 can do. Kind of moving into the mid game now.
Yeah, from what should be a pretty even turret trade, it's actually a pretty big advantage for Echo Fox, so they're definitely doing pretty well. P1 win, getting the fan support.
Let me tell you, it's that GIF.
Yeah.
That wonderful, wonderful GIF.
Echo Fox now moving around the bottom side of the map. They want to take control of the jungle, get the vision, allow themselves to push up, put pressure on the tier 2, put pressure on the dragon. We'll see if they're going to be able to do so. They have a lot of members moving around here, just trying to secure the vision before they go for any plays.
Yeah, no level 6 for the AD carries, so can't add those ultimates to a potential skirmish. Instead, let Pyrian clear these out of the way. He's actually got a Spectre's Cal finished already, so he's very safe in the mid lane. Froggen with his early mana items, though, so both those mages off to a good start. But again, they've just been hanging out, farming away. So
yeah, 2 levels up now for KFO in the top lane. The key thing here, Zig needs to freeze this wave. He needs to have time to be able to hold this at his turret, so his jungler needs to be on that side of the map. We need to see Nori moving up here, not allowing KFO to push this into his wave. If KFO just gets to reset this for free without any danger, this is a big mistake from P1, because this is their moment to come back in the top lane matchup. If Zig gets a hard freeze, look how many range minions are there. You can hold that forever. If you deny the push-in, You're going to be able to freeze that. He's going to be able to even up the matchup. Unfortunately, his jungler late to the move. Rek'Sai's here first. It's already pushed into the turret, and this is not something that a Jax, who has not even really purchased in a long time, should be able to do. This is a guy on pieces of a phage. He should be scared to push you to your tier 2 turret, but P1 making the macro errors, and Anori not in the right place. Zig doesn't get the freeze. They're looking for the engaged bot lane.
Yeah, looking for a teleport down, but don't quite find it. KFO gets that shop in. He's almost finished Trinity Force from all that early farming.
That's rough, man.
Certainly is. Echo Fox, though, again, off to a great start here, and might even just convert for the Drake. Tried to make the play in the long lane bottom side, couldn't get it, but they'll just take Ocean Drake for themselves. Perhaps Gate here to maybe challenge.
Yeah, Zig does have the ulti. He has his TP. They have the ability to collapse, but not really any vision. I don't think they're going to make the play. Sivir ult is down too, so it's a free Dragon here. 4, I kind of said half Drake, half Dragon. I kind of changed. That was weird. 4 Echo Fox.
And if they want to play the farm game, Ocean Drake's going to be nice for them. So
always is.
Oh, look at, I like this as well. Big just in Froggen's back pocket, making sure he's staying safe. But again, just a lot of farming. KFO did burn the TP for the play, but shouldn't cost them too much. Zig does have multiple options now to traverse across the map, so we'll see if he can make that global impact Shen is known for, because at this point especially, he's pushing the wave back, but KFO 1v1 has the edge.
And you notice where the jungler is for Fox. Hard is in position. He knows that Shen wants to push us in, otherwise it's going to get frozen. The Rek'Sai's in the right place. P1 botched us last time, and this could be a very big freeze for KFO that can get him massively ahead of Zig, or it could just be Zig dying. And you can see Zig wants to stay around. He wants to get XP. He knows he's at a disadvantage, though. Can't really afford to do it. And
ooh, maybe a catch here. Actually, Anori going to get Stand United on big court already. Very low, but flashes out of the way. Knock up scoop, but Zig's chasing in. He wants the first blood, and he will get it there onto the Soraka. Now Pyrian pops down the ulti on the keep, but KFO in for defense. Froggen, though, takes out Anori on the right-hand side.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade there. P1 picking up that first blood, evens out a lot of the gold. You know, Zig had been kind of falling behind in the macro game as far as that goes, but he is able to get right back in it, picks up that extra first blood gold. That's going to be great for him. And nice job there for P1. 1-for-1 trade, but you're going to be happy with the first blood.
Yep, certainly are. And nice to sort of cover Zig finally in the top lane. He does stay safe. KFO, though, still farming up a storm. He's 25 CS ahead still. And Froggen was the other player that got a kill in that exchange. Anori kind of going down a transition as we're actually going to watch this again.
Yeah, and it's the face check there from Big. Gate comes in. There's a little bit of a whip. You know, there are some relatively big mistakes here as far as Zig. That should have been a Tom Flash. He should have just picked him up right away. Not able to do that. They do have some missed skill shots, which ends up being that kind of 1-for-1 trade with Froggen. Pops the ulti, able to chase Anori down. Getting that kill on the rise is great, especially when you consider he had the tier so early. The Catalyst is going to be working towards that Rod of Ages very quickly. Froggen went a greedy build, already got a kill. Going great.
Certainly looking good so far. As we'll see where the teams want to put their lane assignments next. Zig's actually bottom lane right now with teleport ready. KFO does not have a global summoner, but he's still happily farming in the top lane, although giving it up because I think he knows there's some trouble to be had. Nori and Gate were looking in at the red buff, actually get multiple wards down in that area, but again, Echo Fox there, make sure to cover KFO, and Big going to start to clear out that vision as well.
So one of the things about Shen is you really want to be proactive. Because you have the double globals with the TP plus the ult, you want to be making sure while KFO has no TP, you're making a play. If you can actually convert on those, you do the first one, he matches with TP, you do the second one, that's your freebie. So we're going to have to see, can Zig actually convert on this global advantage? Can P1 get something done and try to, you know, open up a lead for themselves?
Gold lead right now, barely in favor of Echo Fox, but I feel like with the way they're collecting farm, they should at least be collecting a bit more of a lead as we move through the mid game. I said it already, Echo Fox feel like a good double TP team. This is why Froggen loves to sit inside lanes on mid lane and try and take farm. Sometimes he does it with Cassio with Cleanse, which isn't as great, but Teleport Rise, perfectly good at this sort of thing.
Froggen wants to sit wherever the CS is.
Exactly.
He'll sit in the jungle, he'll sit in the side lane. I'll take this, I'll take that, thank you very much. He wants to power up, and it's what Froggen loves to do, loves to farm, and he's very, very good at it.
Well, it's
see how it's going to pay off.
Getting opportunities to do so. So I like the lane assignments from Echo Fox, all jokes aside.
Yeah.
Big covering there with a stock ult. Does get a slow into Mash and Gate. And it does feel like Civ and Rome are struggling to figure out where they want to be. Keith has been farming mid lane this whole time.
Is this the synergy or the anti-synergy? Mash and Gate keep warding the same bush. That's like 3 straight times. They're doing it very synchronized. It looks really cool, but ooh, maybe you should save that ward for another bush.
Unfortunately, as we discovered, does not give double division. So perhaps a change there.
But it looks really neat.
It certainly does. You can tell they're on the same page. It's just not the way they want it to be.
It's just the wrong page. They're on the same one.
Maybe wrong book too.
Yeah.
Keith just clearing out the wave. Still a bit behind on CS, actually. Mash 20 CS ahead. So impressive stuff that despite the lane swap. Zig again getting pushed in, but Froggen's here to challenge, and here's some friends.
P1 moving up to the top lane. They're going to put pressure on that turret. Fox moving down to the bot. They want to push onto this turret. So both teams are kind of just trading this out. Zig, really, all he wants to do is just kind of soak experience. There's no way he can challenge to defend this turret. Same thing for KFO in the top lane. So they're going to be happy to do that. At the same time, Keith trying to defend mid lane as Pyrion's stuck around there and the farming assignments being spread out.
That's funny. These two teams just don't really want to fight each other right now.
Froggen's trying to push this wave in. He wants to reset it. We'll see if he's going to be able to do so. Once again, they never want to let anyone freeze. P1 going to make the move towards the Rift Herald. I like this a lot, especially because KFO is the kind of champion that would really love to get this buff. Even if you don't get it on your Shen, just taking it away from the Jax is a victory. It's spotted out by Keith, though. Let's see if Fox make a move.
Yep, this could be the challenge here. KFO did finish that Trinity Force a few minutes ago, so he's ready for a scuffle, especially if it's a smaller engagement. Froggen does successfully push this wave in. So he's level 12 to 6 level 9, which is actually absurd.
Feels bad.
Everyone gives up the Rift Herald, though.
Yeah.
Mountain Drake up in 20 seconds, so maybe resetting for that objective as well.
As Shen with the early armor, you're not trying to have anything to do with that. No thank you. Trinity Force completed on KFO. We'll see what kind of a build he's going to want to go. I'm expecting it to be just full-on split push, Blade of the Rune King. You know, we have seen some Gunblades and stuff, especially in solo queue. Gunblade's actually really popular, but most people do enjoy the Blade of the Rune King, especially in competitive for that second item. I think it's fantastic against the Shen, and likely going to be the second purchase here for KFO, but we'll have to wait and see. Could go another route.
Well, plenty of time here in this game as it's been a lot of farming for the first 17 minutes. Keith feeling pretty safe right now, though.
Yeah.
Got a nice short lane to farm, and again, that Drake maybe ready and up for Echo Fox. When we saw them all the way back in week 1 having early success, they were playing heavily around objectives. Looks like that playstyle has smoothed out a bit, but not really changed too much.
Yeah. KFO already making the rotation. He's moving down here, wants to be in position to take this dragon. They very clearly want to get a second one, start that stacking. Mountain Drake is very important as well. You know, being able to pick that up early allows for easier objective takes, allows you to snowball those dragons a lot more.
Well, right now, Echo Fox have set themselves up. They've actually aggroed the Drake. KFO takes a big chunk out of his life total.
He's hiding in the bush. What's up with that?
Drake always knows. It looks like that's actually going to be them pulling off the objective. T1 have plenty of ways to get Zig back down from top lane, and KFO sees some farm, wants to go back and get it. Seems to be contagious in the Echo Fox team. That's Froggen, actually. This is cute. Yep, going to pop the ulti, and that'll be a trade.
It's a good trade for Froggen, though. Sivir ulti is going to be more of a big one to lose, and KFO picks up the Merc Treads. There's a lot of CC here. Makes a lot of sense. You got Braum, you got Cocoons, you got Shentons, so I think that's pretty intelligent pickup here from him. Didn't get that Ruby Crystal, so it could be building towards, you know, Sterix or something completely different tank, or he could have just been like, well, I have 400 gold, I'm going to buy this for now, and then I'll work towards a second DPS item.
Just for comparison, as you were talking, Froggen's ulti is already back. He's used it again, actually, so kind of demonstrate how low that cooldown is. Echo Fox making sure that P1 aren't pushing into their mid turret. Their own Froggen is sticking deep into that bottom lane. Fox have really just spread out to a big 1-3-1. They're trying everything they can to just spray P1 around the map. And Froggen, I like what he's doing. Dipping back into the jungle, seeing if he can't find a pick, but not playing overly aggressive with it.
He doesn't have a lot of vision. That's the only thing kind of worrying for him. But him being down here, it's like, who do you send to answer? The Vladimir? Vladimir has no TP, so Froggen can just TP elsewhere. This pressure that he's putting on allows them to get the Rift Herald, give that over to KFO, that's big, and there's just no one to really match up against Froggen. Sure, put the Shen down there, but Shen is not going to ever win that 1v1, and he has to build armor to deal with KFO as well, so that's kind of doubly tough, and you end up having to send 2 people down to deal with Froggen, and Froggen's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's chilling out right now. He's level 13, so an awful lot of experience, and CS, you can see, is pretty clear of Pyrion, almost 20 up. KFO is even further ahead of Zig. He's almost 40 CS ahead. And again, this pattern's just going to keep continuing. Echo Fox are more than happy to play a patient game. That much I can tell you.
They certainly are. You know, Mash for P1, though, he's up a lot in farm. Pyrian ramping up on this Vladimir, going to be very strong. So there's a lot of positives here for P1, too. You know, Fox is kind of setting up this 1-3-1. It's going to be on P1 to get engages, get catches, find someone with the Elise Cocoon, have that Shen ult in and take people out, because you don't want to just let Fox play the way they want to play in a slow, methodical 1-3-1. You need to have the grouped up 5v5, hard engages with the Sivir ult, the Braum multi. A lot of ways to catch people. We'll see if P1 can do it.
This is a good start. Mountain Drake going to get started by P1. They'll clear the vision out, and Echo Fox not in the area to challenge, so this should go over to Phoenix 1.
Froggen's actually moving up to the top lane and maybe kind of making that move where, as the mid laner, you shadow your top laner, you try to bait them into a fight, wait for the jungler to come, and then you have two solo laners win that 2v2. A lot of people making the moves up, and looking to pick up this blue buff as it's going to spawn pretty quickly, but I think Zig is aware of what's going on. But
Soraka's here as well, but not the deadliest of support.
A lot of pings from P1. They know something's going on.
Yeah. And Hard, of course, can join in. Actually, also walks his way over on Rek'Sai, but does have tunnels in the area as well. P1, though, play it safe. They'll probably just give up the blue when it does spawn. So it'll be nice for Froggen to get it. He's actually super strong right now with the Seraph's already transformed and the Rod of Ages at 7 stacks.
Pretty fast.
Certainly does feel like Echo Fox have not only farmed efficiently to a good midpoint, but they're happy to keep scaling. They've got the champions to do it. They've got the setup to play an elongated game. At some point, I think P1 are still getting maybe to 2 items here, but there does need to be a window where they're like, okay, we have to do something here. Maybe it's just around the Baron, because we're like 5-10 minutes, probably less than 10, from getting to, okay, now we're challenging for Baron is the next objective.
I certainly don't think that P1 is going to get massively outscaled or anything. They don't have to be too worried about that just yet by any means. You know, Sivir is going to be a team fight beast, so is the Vlad. So there is a lot of things going for them in that way, but Fox's game plan certainly is to just make it go slow. Play a long game, 1-3-1, build your advantages in the side lanes, have kind of this 3-man squad moving around, clearing out the mid lane, and the longer it goes where Fox is setting the pace, it's going to be better for them. They're going to be very happy.
As long as they're dictating the pace of play, they're happy as key. Getting damage on the Pyrian. Ulti's still ready for Ashe, but Pyrian has double mobility summoners and Sanguine Pool up most likely, so he'll be just fine. He's a Vladimir with the Spirit Visage as his teammates who will come by just to make sure his turret stays healthy. Mid lane's definitely been a sore point for both these teams. These are awfully healthy outer turrets there, which is kind of why we're playing so much around the sideways after the lane swap.
Yeah, KFO actually going to build a little tanky after this, picks up a cowl. May just want to go into more of kind of like a team fighting build where people just go Trinity Force tank. I think that's a perfectly good option too. You can just kind of be more effective in the team fights. It's a lot easier to enter them, especially against a team with all the CC. If you're Glass Cannon, you go and you get locked up, you can die very quickly. So looking to be a little bit more safe in that build.
Well, looks like 2 items are finished for pretty much everyone, at least on the P1 side. Zig's still working on his, but he has tank components, so he's feeling pretty happy. Rylai's done for Pyrian's, a big spike there for the Vladimir, and Phantom Dance are actually done for Mash, going pretty heavy on the damage front. I mean, Fox, they have their items as well, but if P1 were looking for a time to strike, it's actually pretty good right now.
As far as their team fight AoE, it's actually pretty impactful too. You can have the ricochets bouncing around with that Vladimir ultimate down. Vlad, you know, amplifying Sivir's damage, putting a lot of damage out of his own. Can be pretty scary to deal with. Sivir ricochets always going to be frightening.
I like the setup, but right now it again is just a lot about playing objective this time around. Keith has been mid lane for an awfully long time now. He gets the last 10 minutes. Maybe he's role swapping. But again, teams just wanting to keep waves up. We've got decent wave clear from the AD carries. Everyone's sticking around, making sure mid stays healthy. So with Drake's down and Baron, probably not something they want to do right now because it's a bit too early. Still settling in for more of a longer game, shall we say.
Keith is really happy in the mid lane too. He doesn't want to get caught. You know, he's not playing a highly mobile AD carry. Very easy to pick someone like an Ashe off if he's in a side lane and the Elise and the Shen come in, things like that. He doesn't want to get locked up, wants to play it very safe, and as a result, going to be kind of sitting around here in mid lane. And just look at all the vision from Echo Fox. They have done a much better job of getting deep vision and kind of controlling the enemy jungle. As a result, red buff going to be taken away, and Froggen feeling very safe to push this in extremely deep because he's going to know if anyone's coming.
And this is the thing, you look at the gold lead right now, it's not really a big difference here is actually KFO and Pyrian maybe having a battle. Pyrian going to pop the ulti down. KFO, can he finish him off? Stand in as well, but KFO wants to take him out. He flashes forward, gets the stun, and outplays them for the kill.
Yeah, Shen did not come through. I think that Froggen actually must have interrupted the ult there. So close to actually perhaps being able to survive. If Pyrian could have got off that transfusion, would have been close.
But really well played by KFO. Burns everything for the outplay, and Froggen making sure that everything's okay on the bottom side as well. And this is actually a bit more pressure. Hards here as well. I think he ulted to the area, or he might have just tunneled down. And if this is an inhib break, that's a huge win for Echo Fox, but it seems that P1 are maybe just back in time to defend.
They're going to get the mid lane turret, though, because they don't have enough pieces to kind of match up across the map right now, and they're actually just kind of going all in on this hard.
Rise, there we go. We do take it down. Brom's here as well. The gate flash is in. Good flash from Froggen. And Echo Fox actually take 2 crucial turrets there in that exchange.
Breaking open the inhib with a split-pushing Jax on your team, oh boy. That is not something that P1 wanted to have happen, especially after we just saw how frightening KFO can be in that 1v1. He's finished up the Spear Visage, and we're going to get a replay of this fight here. Starts off pretty well here for Pyrian. He's able to avoid that stun, but he gets a little bit too close, honestly. And here it is. Yep, there's the Rune Prison onto Zig, interrupting it. Very key. And Inori not on the same page here as his mid laner. Inori was going one way, the Vladimir is going the other. Pyrian got a little bit too close, out of his pool, took too much damage. Shen gets interrupted. Big backfire there for P1.
And I was just going to say that even though the gold lead didn't look pretty significant, Echo Fox are sort of building and waiting to convert into a big advantage. It's not a huge lead, but 2,500 gold almost with pressure open on the bottom side is kind of all Echo Fox really wanted from that play. So yes, they're playing fairly patiently, but this was all set up to slowly build up pressure and eventually P1 just break.
They don't need to have a massive gold lead because they have the massive pressure advantage, and they just have kind of the 1v1 advantages, and if you let the Jax get too far ahead, he's just going to get out of control. Even if you get the engages, he's not even going to come. He's going to keep pushing, and it's going to be very hard for Shen to win this 1v1. We'll see what he can do.
Well, not winning right now, but Inori could actually turn it around. KFO leaves strikes. Probably didn't need to, but better safe than sorry. As Echo Fox are going to take a Drake for themselves instead. They'll get the second mountain of the game, their first one, as Phoenix One are actually able to get that Drake for themselves. And again, just continuing to stack objectives here. This gold lead is deceptive. Echo Fox have a lot more implied gold that you don't necessarily see, kind of hidden in the Drakes, hidden in their map advantage. Doing a good job converting so far as Inori flashes forward.
Nice cocoon.
Hemo played down, Froggen getting slowed, gate here as well. Froggen trying to dip duck and dodge as best he can, but he's going to get chased down. Still not dead, but now he's going to die. Pyrian gets the kill.
P1 cleaning up Froggen, but oh boy, that was difficult. And we do see in the bot lane, KFO going aggressive. Mash is here, though.
2v1 match, though. Maybe can't win. KFO's going to keep moving. That'll force a flash out with a counter-strike threatening. And he'll get out pretty easily, actually, which is a worrying sign.
That is very worrying. 2 summoners blown there by Mash. He almost dies. Can P1 collapse here in the mid lane? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, couldn't get a kill, but Echo Fox don't get the tier 2 mid lane turret they were looking for. Kind of reset things a bit as Froggen will respawn in 15 seconds and KFO is going to go back and spend some money. Still that mid lane turret up there, so P1 looking for a bit of a counter push. Baron also an option, but again, teams sort of resetting once again as P1 still falling behind every play it feels like.
Definitely does, but they have the ways to make those engages happen. They have the ways to get the picks, and they're not massively behind by any means. They just need to pick up a kill or two. If Echo Fox overextends, if they can get a catch onto KFO, if they can get a catch on a Froggen, these are things that can start to turn the game around. You know, if you get a kill or two here or there on a nice pick, you pick up Baron, all of a sudden you're in the lead. So they just have to kind of weather the storm, stay alive as long as possible, but P1's going to have to send someone else to help Zig in the bot lane once again. There's just no way he can really stop KFO from pushing in here by himself.
And it's a great point. We talked about sort of an invisible gold lead. It's also in some ways tangible versus intangible. And the nice thing about an intangible gold lead, they don't actually have the gold. It's just, again, pressure you expect to pay off later in the game. So Echo Fox still with work to do here, absolutely. But KFO back to his old tricks. He's sitting down in the bottom lane. He's a huge Jax right now. Finish that Spirit Visage. Looks like he's going for Steric's Gauge.
He's going to start probably whacking away on this inhib. And Braum did base. He's coming back. Sivir's here as well. Taunt does land. but no real chance to chase him down. Just easy ward hop away.
Mid tier 2 goes down as well, so Echo Fox starting to intelligently use KFO's pressure as well. They're not leaving him out to dry, which does happen sometimes in a split push. It was like very well coordinated 1-3-1 here from Echo Fox, and I'm going to say they've had about 6 weeks of practice, so it makes sense.
Yeah, Sivir's moving over to try to grab this red buff. KFO is there, does take it away. So annoying, and KFO is just going to kind of lurk around the jungle, pick up what camps he can, and wait. And then once he sees all the members of P1, time to go in.
Yep. Just
rinse and repeat.
Rush straight towards the open inhib.
Yep.
And over the finish line. KFO, though, just some casual jungling.
That's one of the things about this mid lane ward that Echo Fox does have. It just kind of looks pretty random, but it's actually very important. You can see the rotations being made by P1. This lets KFO know it's his time to get in there.
It's a good crack potentially, though, but Echo Fox back to defend. Great idea from P1. Looking to run down mid lane, but KFO still causing trouble. Zig actually maybe nailed the target. KFO doesn't see anyone else. Now going to go back in. Procs Grass counter-strike there. Does get the stun. Now going to just try and take him down. He might go all in for it. The flash is forced. And now the inhib's open.
Yeah, no one making the move from P1. So P1 needs to collapse and fight right now. Can they catch Big?
Looking for Big, but he flashes out of the way. Himo plays down. Tagged by the ulti. And that could be enough. It is. Pyrian able to claim the kill. Hard, though, going to get out of the way. And there's the inhib going down to Fox.
Yeah, that's a lost inhib. It's not enough for P1. They need to keep going. They have to either get some turrets, get a kill on Froggen, do something right now. Because if you're not going to react to the split push, you need to take objectives elsewhere.
Great blue trinket from Echo Fox. They do see P1 in the Baron pit, but P1 smartly not going to start it just yet. They do have control of the area, and a sweeper being popped there by Gate's going to make sure they have exclusive vision. But again, we sort of reset. KFO now gets a frozen mallet, which was actually the item he wanted.
Okay.
We're getting it built out of the Drum's Fist now.
Interesting.
And things starting to get tricky for Phoenix 1.
Certainly are. I was thinking it might be Asterix, but if you're just going to be in this long 1v1 versus the Shen, this means Shen never gets to escape, basically. If you get on him, you're going to be on him until he's dead or you're dead, pretty much. So it's a nice item, especially in these long open lanes, for KFO to just be able to push in. He's actually just going to return to the bot lane, even though the inhib is down. He can push us in. He can actually apply pressure to the Nexus turrets, even through the minions. And at the same time, Fox starting up the Baron.
And this is the best inhib for them to have if they want to try and take Baron down. Echo Fox did start the Baron, but noticed a few members of P1, so decided not to fully commit. Great wards from Phoenix 1, actually spotting them all out. There's Echo Fox.
But here we go.
Perfect.
KFO knows where these P1 members are. They're showing up in the mid lane. He can see them. Now it's his time to go in, and he is pushing this wave in. It's going to be hard for Shen to clear this out and keep everything safe. At the same time, yeah, they get the mid lane turret, but Froggen is pushing towards the tier 2 in the other lanes, and P1 are going to have to make a call here. They need to be decisive. They're going for the fight.
They make a call. They want Soraka. Big going to try and juke out of the way, but he's getting slowed. There's the stun finally landing in, and that will be Big going down. He pops the ulti, but it's not enough.
They need to keep going, though. They need to get more. Once again, Froggen taking the turret. He's going straight to the inhib. We have KFO still pushing in the bot lane. And Fox is just kind of just out macro playing P1. P1 is trying to make these plays. Yes, they're killing off Soraka, but who cares?
Yeah, now Froggen actually turning onto Zig does decent damage right now on the rise. Does have Void Staff, but actually going to go ahead and join KFO because I think that's the safest way to leave. KFO not interested in leaving just yet, though.
He's on
actually,
turret.
oh my god, he wants it back in onto the Nexus Turret to get taunted as I think he's trapped.
He's going to try to make the great escape. We'll see if he can do it. Froggen does dodge out. Can he actually get the outplay?
Who's trapping who? Is that KFO? Leap Strike flashes out of the way. Now going to turn things around, but a little too much damage. Perhaps leaps away again. And there's just not enough damage.
They can't do anything to this Jax, and at the same time, two-man Baron going down. This is going to be Echo Fox's Baron. When you're split pushing this heavily, there's nothing better than the Baron buff. Shen is going to have a brutal time dealing not only with the Jax, but now these Baron-empowered super minions.
And Drake's up as well. It'll be the last one of this game as Elder Dragon will spawn after. Not sure we'll get there, but KFO going to go ahead and take it with hard. And given all the running around that's been happening, Cloud Drake not the worst one. As Fox continue to pile on those advantages. Now 4,500 gold up. And you can see all the pressure points starting to converge. P1 are sort of running out of territory to defend.
Yeah. It's one of those tough things to deal with. When you're fighting split push teams, you have to be super decisive. You have to make these split decision calls and always be really, really fast. Okay, great. We're going to kill this guy and then we're going to take the turret. Oh, we're going to kill this guy and we're going to take the Baron. We're going to collapse and kill the Shen. You know, it has to be really, really fast, really cohesive, and that's one of the things that the teams that are at the lower end of the standings generally struggle with. So split pushing against a team like P1 can be something that's very tough for P1 to deal with.
Well, Froggen is gigantic at this point. Does have a Rabadon's death cap now added in.
More items.
Move his way to the bottom lane. KFO working on it as well. Does have a Vampiric Scepter, so a bit more dueling potential there. As he's in minion waves. Not long for this world. KFO is going to scoop them out. And Baron buff is on, like you said. So Echo Fox going to go back to that 3-lane pressure. See if Phoenix 1 can defend their turrets. They're looking real vulnerable right now.
KFO playing it safe. He's actually backing off. They haven't seen P1 in a while, so he knows the potential of the collapse is there. They're going to wait. Once they spot the members, they're going to push in aggressively in all 3 lanes. It's going to be tough for P1 to match this. There's no way that for them to actually just hold in these even matchups. They have to make a call, get a hard engage, take a pick, and then collapse on the rest of the team.
Yep, and they've sort of got the tools to do so. So we'll see where Phoenix 1 pull the trigger. Furion going to try and wave clear as best he can, but souped up minions.
Yeah, I mean,
hard for even Vlad to kill.
Froggen's in the base. KFO's going to go right onto the inhib. That turret is gone, and the mid lane is going to be pushed in, so P1 moves up to top lane. Now KFO just has to run.
Yeah, that's the call. KFO, though, can he escape again? The stun almost there. Leap strikes away, but he gets tagged on the back end of it, and the ulti from Brom's going to knock him off, but Echo Fox don't mind.
It doesn't matter. They're already losing the mid inhibitor and the turret. So once again, they try to make the call to go on him, but it was pretty lackluster. Everyone kind of just wandering up and starting to go on him. They need to be decisive if they want to have any chance of making their way back into this game.
At this point, Phoenix 1 is getting pulled apart. Froggen going to retake the bottom inhibitor. And now all of a sudden the super minion is going to come from all angles. Baron will still be there for a little while longer. So Echo Fox might just sit here and kind of coast the waves in towards the Nexus.
Triple inhib. Baron buff still active for 45. They can do this. They can actually try to end the game. Flash taunt on a Froggen.
Looking for Froggen, but he flashes out of the way. Zig does commit for it, but KFO is busy with more structures. Keith piling damage in onto Gate, though, but Vladimir's going to try and move him out of the way. Big does heal him up, and there's the re-engage. Nori getting potentially taken up, but not just yet. Zigdo on the front line is going to take some damage. Froggen going to keep moving in. KFO again, just taking pot shots at the turrets, and Keith just will not die with this Soraka in his back pocket. P1's base is just kind of crumbling.
This is it, man. They're going to end. They can't even clear the waves, and this is going to be the TP coming in from Froggen, from KFO to Froggen, and that's it.
Yeah, clears out the Nexus, and a very methodical win there for Echo Fox, but looking so much cleaner in the execution than they have in other games. Game 1